Good evening. Paramedics on the front line have told STV News they're simply papering over the cracks when it comes to dealing with a spike in mental health incidents, which they say they don't receive specialist training for. They also told us what used to be seen as winter pressures are now felt all year round. Well, our political reporter Laura Alderman spent an evening on shift with paramedics in Edinburgh on one of their busiest nights of the year.
Paramedic Kyle and technician Stevie are barely half an hour into their night shift in Edinburgh when the first job comes in. An 86-year-old woman has fallen at home and can't get up. Within 15 minutes, they're on the scene. Elizabeth is stuck behind the door and in a lot of pain.
Lovely Kyle here. He can give you some pain relief.
The team try to make her as comfortable as possible and reassure her family while they assess the situation.
So we think she's effectively fractured her hip, we think is what she's done. So we were trying to give her some pain relief, and then her blood pressure took a bit of a dive and she felt a bit unwell, so we thought it was maybe going to get a bit more chaotic, but she's kind of recovered a little bit. So we're going to go and get a chair and then get her onto that and then get her into the vehicle and kind of reassess again from there.
Where possible, paramedics try to ease pressure on emergency departments by treating patients on the scene or in their own home. But often, like on this occasion, a transfer to A&E is still necessary.
Good job, well done.
As Elizabeth is moved into the ambulance, her family are thankful.
They've been super, really very professional and very caring, and actually, my auntie's very proud, so they've really thought about her dignity as well, so yeah, really very good service.
While Elizabeth makes her way to A&E,
is he responding normally?
The calls continue to roll in at the ambulance control centre in South Queensferry.
It's been extremely busy. The demand's quite high for ambulances, and some of the calls that we're getting are needing more further triage from the clinicians, so a lot of the calls are getting passed through to the clinicians.
More than 2,000 calls to 999 are received here every day, but around half of them do not require an ambulance.
Realistically, if you phone 999, you will always receive an answer. But we do know we have to prioritise our most immediate life-threatening calls. So if you're having a heart attack, a stroke, or you're critically unwell, we'll always prioritise that call. Now, the sad thing of that, it means that those people who are less unwell, they're not immediately facing a life-threatening condition, will have to wait longer.
When Kyle and Stevie arrive at A&E, there's not too many more ambulances stacked up outside, and it's good news for Elizabeth.
And she'll be around about 10 minutes, and then we will go in and get you further assessment.
Right.
All right?
30 minutes after she arrived at A&E, Elizabeth is admitted. But for paramedics, the wait to hand patients over can be frustrating, tying them up for hours on end.
The last 2 years it's changed massively. So we always kind of heard stories from down south and things when it was 8-hour waits and things, and we always thought that'll never happen here, and now it's becoming a reality really. So if we're stuck here, then obviously we can't go to calls, so more and more ambulances get stuck. More and more calls come in that we can't respond to. Then there's also the patients being uncomfortable. Personal opinion, it's like this all the time. We hate going to jobs where people have been lying for hours or waiting for hours, and usually they get more and more unwell as it goes on. It frustrates us as well. And we also feel the effect of that as staff.
Another change Kyle has noticed since the pandemic is the sheer volume of mental health related call-outs.
I mean, the training we receive in mental health is nothing really. We get made aware of it. We don't get specialist training or anything. So I think sometimes people think we are trained in certain things. We're not. We get kind of awareness of it and understanding of things, but we're not trained in how to deal with it. We kind of just pick it up as we go. We're kind of papering over the cracks a lot of the time and just doing what we can. When you think about the pressures that we have been under, it's not necessarily a miracle, but it's impressive that it's still functioning to some degree.
Recent investment in different referral pathways for patients, like out-of-hours GPs, has given the crew confidence and eased some immediate pressures.
One thing I've noticed with this job, obviously I've been in such a short time, is there's a lot of alternative pathways that we can use. Obviously we try and use them to our best our advantage, and obviously best for the patient as well, because obviously the outcome is obviously the best care for them. And it can be challenging, but we do our best.
With one job now complete, the crew gets ready to respond to the next call and whatever challenges it might bring. Laura Alderman, STV News, Edinburgh.